Guys, we're back again with another episode of Live Long and Freeze Dry. Today we're focusing on some chicken. Was able to pick up some rotisserie chickens and chicken breast for pretty cheap this week, and so we prepared some stuff. We're going to get it all into the Blue Alpine. It's been chilling down here for a few minutes. First tray is the ground chicken breast. Second tray is some bone broth that we got from taking the skin and bones from the rotisserie chickens and cooking them down. And then meat from the rotisserie chickens. You really can't beat it. I think I was paid maybe like $4 a piece for the rotisserie chickens. The amount of meat that we get off of them is just insane, and that'll all get processed up and put into the long-term food storage in the Mylar bags. So we'll set this thing to chill down for maybe 3 hours because we just pulled all of that out of the fridge. Key is we got to get that tray temperature down to 0 before this thing kicks into the dry cycle. And so if it comes out of the freezer, 2 or 3 hours will do it. If you're taking trays, you know, right from the kitchen and you just load it up and throwing them in here without pre-freezing them, then you want to do what the machine suggests in the recipe. Give it that 9 or 10 hours of freeze time so that it brings everything way down before it ever kicks into the dry cycle. So here we are taking it down to about 3 hours, and I think it's a 23 hour dry time, so that I have it finishing up tomorrow sometime around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And when it finishes up, we'll come back down here, we'll pull it out, and we'll get it processed up. Until then, just hang out. Welcome back, guys. The chicken run, about done. I'm looking here at our temperature, 115 degrees where it's supposed to be. Our pressure is down to 897, which is really good. Really good, all things considered. So we're going to go ahead and pause the run. I'm going to open up the drain valve to equalize the pressure inside the chamber, and we'll start taking our product out and see how it went. Do I have any doubts it's going to be good? No, of course not. Science is science, and Blue Alpine for the win, right? Here we go. First tray here is rotisserie chicken, all nice and dry. Although, you know what, I'm going to put that back in for a little bit because I do feel just a little bit of cold in there. Set that in there. The chicken bone broth. More of the rotisserie chicken, smaller pieces. Feels good. More rotisserie chicken. Again, smaller pieces. Maybe this is the thing. Show me the difference. Ah, yeah. Silicone tray liner. I like to use the silicone tray liners, but perhaps that silicone is not allowing the tray to get warm enough to get that dry in the same time that it did for this one that doesn't have the liner. I'm going to do a little swap out and see how that works. Okay, so all I did was slide the liner out from under and put the chicken back in the tray. I'm still going to throw it back in for another hour or so. And then we have the ground chicken, and yeah, smaller pieces. The liner didn't make any difference as far as it coming dry. It's really good. So we're going to close her back up. Set this tray down. Close it back up. We're going to close our drain valve so that our vacuum pump can draw a vacuum on it again. Hit our resume button. Now this is showing 45 minutes left on the time. So I'm going to add 2 hours because I got to take Becky to the dentist this morning. So it's set for 3 hours and 15 minutes. Vacuum pump's kicked in. Contours are dropping as we speak. And having that open as long as we did, we went from 115 down to 103 on our tray temp. So the tray heaters will go, heat that chicken back up, vacuum will drop down, it'll allow that ice to be pulled out of the vapor, and it'll be all set. Now we get to package this crap up. Okay, first thing I'm going to go with here, real fast, is this Rotiserie Chicken. And sometimes you want to make sure you get decent Mylar bags when you're doing rotisserie chicken. It's, especially when it's shredded up like this instead of diced up. You got little sharp edges on there. No sharp edges can put a hurt on the bag. If you get a little pinhole in the bag, then you're going to draw air, and your product will not last. This rotisserie chicken reconstitutes really well. I love to use it in shepherd's pie and pot pies. It's real good. I went to Costco yesterday just for their stupid sandwiches, and they didn't have any sandwiches. Ended up spending $160 on other stuff. Got a pretty good deal on some loin roast, beef loin roast, some ground beef, and some I don't know, pork loin medallions. I think they're garlic and rosemary. We're going to try those for dinner tonight, see how they come out. Okay. Oxygen absorber. And heat seal. Let me grab a smaller bag. This little gal's got another Pantry preparedness channel. I think it's called Sutton's Days. Gal's name is Lisa. She is a wealth of great information. We watched last night. She did a video on whether or not a freeze dryer is worth the expense and She did price comparisons on, you know, freeze drying your own stuff as opposed to buying some some commercial freeze dry products. When she first started in, I thought she was going to totally be bagging on the freeze dryer, but she just, you know, she explained that, you know, she has preferences of how she likes to use the one she has, what she uses it on, what she thinks is worthwhile to freeze dry, and what she thinks is not cost efficient, and so she doesn't. But she has one of those Harvest Right, which I expect that they're good machines. They've been around forever. So you might want to check her stuff out. She's a lot more detail oriented on her stuff, and so whereas I'm just here, you know, pretty face and food, she'll give you more the numbers and the story behind, you know, what's going on and how freeze drying and pantry preparedness and all of that goes. I really enjoy watching her channel. Okay, I'm going to heat seal up the chicken breast, ground. And then the next thing I'm going to do is, I'm not going to powder this, I'm going to just break it up. As I'm thinking about the next batch that I do, I'm going to use the silicone molds and find out how much in each of the silicone molds to make for a serving, I guess, for lack of a better term. Another jar. Well, today is July 2nd, so a couple days till 4th of July. One thing I've been asking myself is, hey, remember when you was a kid and it was the bicentennial, 1976, blah blah, the whole friggin' country was, you know, bicentennial stuff. America 200 years. Where is that for 250? It seems to me like the only person that's recognized that this is a big thing is the president, and kind of disappointing that, I mean, you go out and you don't see much of anything, you know, showing that it's, you know, the United States 250 years. So just kind of wonder where that patriotism's gone that was around when I was in school. Hopefully it comes back, because I think it was a good thing. So we've got our stuff packaged up. I'm going to go ahead and backen this down off camera. We'll come back in a few hours and get the rest of the chicken out, and then I'm going to make a small shepherd's pie with the reconstituted rotisserie chicken, and we'll include you in that. Until then, hang on tight. See you in a bit. Okay guys, so the chicken came out of the freeze dryer. We packaged most of it up, put it in jars for long-term storage, and now we're going to whip up a quick and dirty shepherd's pie. Start with some of the freeze-dried mashed. And this is the rotisserie chicken. Again, freeze dried. Boil some water up in the kettle. Add some water to the mashed. Add some water to the chicken. Get our pan going here. You can see pretty clearly there how quickly the chicken starts to absorb the water and reconstitute. And because we're making the shepherd's pie, if I've added too much water to it, it's not really going to matter, because it'll just be additional moisture inside for the gravy that we'll have in the shepherd's pie. Take our can of mushroom soup. Okay, yeah, unscripted here. Yeah, it's one of the things you see a lot on these preparedness channels, these preppers. They all say, you know, have this, have that, have that. Did any of them tell you make sure you got a can opener? Now for this, I'm just going to take some vegetables that were in the freezer. Our potatoes, another good stir. Chicken right into the pot. It was a really good deal on that Costco Rotiserie Chicken. They're like $6 and they're huge. They're almost twice the size of the ones that you might find at Walmart. Okay, we got that in there. Grab the casserole pan. Turn that pig off. Now I am going to use the freeze-dried cheese. I'm going to put it under the potatoes to help to use the moisture that's in the pan already for the reconstituting of the cheese. That. House seasoning. Salt, pepper, garlic. 2 parts salt, 1 part pepper, 1 part garlic powder. On top of that goes our mashed. And that will go into the oven at 350 for probably 35-40 minutes. And then it'll be ready for dinner. Shepherd's pie is always best the second day. So there you have it. We took our rotisserie chicken, we ran it through the Blue Alpine Freeze Dryer, And then we combined it with some other freeze-dried ingredients, the cheese and the mashed potatoes. Added some frozen vegetables and a can of mushroom soup, and we've got a good meal. And then if we have leftovers, and I'm not saying we will, but if we were to have leftovers, stuff actually freeze dries well too, so that you can just take the portion, put it onto your tray, squash it down until it's maybe ½ inch thick, because that's about the thickness you want to use on your trays when you run them through the freeze dryer. Gives you a better result, and it's more economical to freeze dry. It'll freeze dry something thick. It'll just take forever, and trying to save money, not to waste money. So there you go. Appreciate you guys showing up. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, and give serious thought to looking into getting yourself a freeze dryer and securing your food for the future. Leave you at that. Be well, be safe. Most important, live long and freeze dry.